Okay, fourth graders, today is Tuesday, October 22nd, and yesterday we learned how discs move on the place value chart when you multiply by 10, by 100, or by 1,000. Yes? If I'm multiplying a number by 10, how does the discs move on the place value chart? It moves one spot to the left. What if I'm multiplying by 1,000? It moves three spots to the left. So if it was in the ones column and it moves one spot to the left, it would be in the if it was in the ones column and it moved two spots to the left, it would then be in the hundred. If I was in the tens to begin with and I moved three spots to the left, what would it be in then? 10,000. Very nice. Today we're going to take that knowledge and use it to help us multiply single digits, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., by multiples of 10. Okay, we're going to be using number discs to represent the expression, okay? So the first expression we're going to represent is 2 ones times 4. So write 2 ones times 4 in the space next to your place value chart so that you know that next to it, that's what you're representing. I'm going to be using colors, but you just use your pencil. So 2 ones times 4. Okay, how might we represent that using discs? Well, I have 2 ones. Do you guys agree that that's 2 ones? Yeah. And I need to make it so that I have 4 copies of that. How many copies of it do I have right now? 1 copy. How many copies of it do I have now? 2. How many copies of it do I have now? 3. How many copies of it do I have now? 4. So that's how you can show 2 ones times 4. 4 copies of 2 ones. Okay, next, our next numerical expression is 2 tens times 4. How would I show 2 tens times 4? Well, let me start with 2 tens. And then I need to make 4 copies of it. There's 1 copy, 2, 3 copies, and 4 copies. So you can write right next to it 2 tens times 4 so that you show that that part shows 2 tens times 4. Let's use repeated reasoning. If our next numerical expression is 2 hundreds times 4, how would you draw that? Go ahead and draw it and label it in your place value chart. It should look like this because you started with 2 hundreds there, and then you made 4 copies of it all together. Last but not least, we have 2 thousands times 4. The times 4 means 4 copies of the 2 thousands. So go ahead and draw and label that in your place value chart. We start with 2 thousands, and we want to make 4 copies of it. There's 1 copy, 2 copies, 3 copies, and 4 copies. So this drawing right here shows 2 thousands times 4. We've also learned about unit form before, okay? So we're going to take what we know about number discs. We're going to come back to that in just a moment, but I want to review unit form with you. We know that 8 times 2 is what? 16. We know that using our math facts, yes? Okay, so 8 times 2 is 16. Now, if my problem instead is 8 times 20, we can think to ourselves, 20 is the same thing as 2 times what? 10, right? Or we can think of it as 2 tens, right? Because if I had 2 discs in the tens column, isn't that 20? Yeah. So instead of, I can use unit form, sorry, not that. I can use unit form to say that 8 times 20 is the same as 8 times 2 tens. Yes? Yeah. Which is the same as 8 times 2, which is 16. But what units is it? 10. Be 16 tens. Which is really how much? 160. Think about it. If I had my place value chart, and in the tens column I had 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Could I do any regrouping? Yeah. Yeah, these 10 would become 100, right? So 16 tens is really the same as 160. Okay, so we can use what we know about unit form, thinking about how 20 is really 2 tens, to help us use math facts to multiply. Does that make sense? Okay, write down this example, 8 times 200. Let's use unit form to write that down. It's really 8 times 2. How would I draw 200 in the place value chart? I would draw 2 dots in the what column? So it's really 8 times 2, what? Hundreds. Let's use unit form to write that out. Unit form, just as a reminder, is when you have the number and then the name of the unit. That's why it's called unit form. What's the name of the unit there? Hundreds. Good. Okay, so then I can use what I know about math facts. I know that 8 times 2 is 16. And what units am I working in? Hundreds. Okay, so 8 times 2 hundredths is really 16 hundredths. But what is that in standard form? We always want to end up in standard form. Remember, standard form is when you no longer have the units. 16 hundredths. Well, I would draw 16 dots in the hundreds column, but then 10 of those would get regrouped to the thousands, so it's really 1,600. Good. 1,600. Okay, go ahead and try this with the bottom one. 8 times 2,000. The question says Francisco played a video game and earned 60 points for every coin he collects. He collected 7 coins. How many points did he earn for the coins he collected? What is the question asking us? Write it down. The question's asking us, how many points did he earn for the coins he collected? So we need to know that each coin he gets 60 points and? And he collected 7 coins. Good. So now we're moving on to the draw portion, right? So let's say he collected 1 coin. How many points would he get for 1 coin? 60 points. What if he collected 2 coins? How many points would he get? Another 60, right? Yeah. So each coin is 60. So how many coins should I draw all together? Good. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and draw a picture. Show that each coin is 60 points. And that's how you can draw a picture to represent this word problem. Now that we have a picture, we're ready to write an equation. What math operation are we doing here? Addition? We could be. Could we do 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60? Could we? Yeah. Are we doing subtraction? No. Could we be doing multiplication? Yes. Okay. Could we be doing division? Let's do multiplication. The multiplication equation would be 60 times 7. Okay. Now let's use what we know about unit form. Instead of doing 60 times 7, we know that that's the same as 6, what? 6 tens, yeah. Do you guys agree that 60 is the same as 6 tens? Yeah. So it's the same thing as 6 tens times 7. What I like about that is now I can just use my math facts. I know that 6 times 7 is 42. So really this is 42 tens. Good. Okay, but that's standard. That's not standard form. That's unit form. So let's think about it. Everyone, close your eyes and imagine your place value inside your head. Place value chart. If I wanted you to draw 42 tens, you'd be drawing 42 dots in the tens column, right? But we know that every 10 of those could be regrouped to become 100. So how many hundreds do I really have if I have 42 tens? 4. And then what would be left in the tens column? 2 dots. So I have 4 hundreds, 2 tens, how many ones? 0. Okay, so I have in standard form, open your eyes, 4 hundreds, 2 tens, 0 ones. I'm almost done. 420. What is the units? Well, good practice. Good thing you wrote down what the question's asking. The question asks, how many points did he earn? So my answer should be 420 points. Good. Identifying the question first and underlining it or writing it down is super important because it helps you make sure that you actually answered the question using the units. Okay, let's move on to part 2 of this question. It says, Francisco not only earns points for the coins, but he also earns 200 points for every level he completes in the game. Okay, he completed 7 levels. How many points did he earn for the levels he completed? So how many points did he earn for the levels he completed? That's question number 2, or that's our second part, the question of the second part. Of course, the important information this time is he gets 200 points because I guess levels are harder than coins. And he completed 7 levels. So how would your tape diagram look? It would look very similar to your one up at top, right? There's still 7 things. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But this time, each one, is it still worth 60 points? No. This time, each section is worth 200 points. Good. So we could still be doing 200 plus 200 plus 200 plus 200 plus 200, but let's not do that. Instead, we know that repeated addition is the same as multiplication. So this time we're doing 200 times 7. Do you guys agree? Let's use unit form. 200 is the same as 2 hundreds, right? If I were to represent 200 in the place value chart, I would draw 2 dots in the hundreds column. Okay, now I want to multiply that by 7. So I can use math facts. What's 2 times 7? 14. But right now I'm in the what's place? So it's 14 hundreds. Is that unit form or standard form? How do you know? Zara?
Because it has the unit.
Yeah, it has the word of the units, which is hundreds. Good. So we have to convert it to standard form. Okay, go back to that place value chart that's hidden in your head. If I ask you to draw place value discs to show 14 hundreds, you're drawing 14 dots in the what column? In the what column?
Hundreds.
Because I'm asking you to draw 14 hundreds. Go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your head. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, can I do any regrouping?
Yeah.
I can bundle up 10 of those hundreds and move it to the?
Thousands.
Okay, so what do you have in the thousands column now? 1 dot. What do you have in the hundreds column now? 4 dots. What do you have in the tens column?
0.
What do you have in the ones column? So open your eyes. 14 hundreds is 1,400. And then, of course, our answer needs to be in points. Okay, very good. So again, this is an example of how you can use your place value chart to help you regroup and how you can use unit form to help you multiply.